All right, so we're about halfway through the session. Instead of working with Maxwell, we're working really with Barley. As you can see over there, he does not show very much respect for boundaries, especially for the mother. And this is not unusual. Women are more maternal, and dogs often take advantage of that. They look at it as unconditional love or kindness as sometimes weakness that needs to be protected. Sometimes that makes them more reactive, more aggressive, not necessarily aggressive, but more assertive in certain situations. So we went through a way to establish boundaries and using the escalating consequences. If you forget the escalating consequences, go to doggunproblems.com. On the top, click Dog Training Tips. On the left, on this side of the page, I believe you'll see a search box. Type in escalating consequences or leadership exercise for the one that we just did, but we put the treat on the floor. Now what we're going to do is the family's mother is preparing some lunch meat. I'm going to have her put it on a plate and microwave it about 15 seconds because we want to create a really strong aroma. Now while it's in the microwave, she's going to move the dog past. My rule would be that the dog is not allowed to cross an imaginary line that's right here. Now the dog's not going to know where the line is. We're going to march at the dog and take territory until the dog gets the line. Then we're going to stop. Then we're going to take a step back. If the dog comes forward, we take that step forward right away. It's kind of going to be like a dance going back and forth until the dog understands enough, allowed to do it. Right now, while you're waiting for that, get behind him and don't let him pass you. Be like a soccer player. Walk towards him and make him walk out here. Don't point. Just you're doing great. Keep walking towards him. Perfect. You're doing great. Perfect. So that's where the line is. So stop right there. Take one step backwards. Take another step backwards. You're going to keep your hips pointed at him the whole time. If he starts to come forward, you're going to hiss before you march at him. Take another step back. And then one more. Now reach over and open the microwave. And take the plate out and just put it on the counter right there. Oh, rush. Perfect. Stop. Now you went a little bit past the line. You might want to put painter's tape down so you know exactly where the line is. Take a big step backwards. This is similar to leadership exercise, just a different target. Another step back. Now usually wait for the dog to be looking. That was excellent. That was awesome. You see how good that was? The hiss is really probably what was stopping, but you followed it up with the movement. Take a big step backwards. And another one. Close the microwave. Pick up the plate. Hold it in front of you. Put it down and march at him. So anytime that he's crossed that line, you drop what you're doing and you march at him. This is why a lot of people like to train their dogs in the moment. I'm going to have you keep on doing what you're doing while I explain this. A lot of people try to train their dogs in the moment when you're cooking an actual meal. That's the worst possible time to try to train your dog because you're thinking about other things. We're recreating. Pick it up, hold it right in front of you like this and blow over it. That's going to carry the... Now again, you start off a little bit slow. I want a big, giant, very forceful first step. That's awesome. Go ahead and walk backwards. Now this is something we wouldn't normally do, but go ahead and pick up the plate, put it on the floor right in front of you. Now you're going to force the line, so hiss, stop. If you cross the line, you take a giant step back. Take one step backwards. Step, boom, keep going, he's crossed the line. There you go. Take a step backwards. Don't step on the plate. Now normally we're not obviously going to put food on the floor. Take another step back. I'd like you to get you all the way against where the oven is if we can, while that's there, so that there's nothing air between him and his goal. And he's just staring at you consistently, then you can just wait about 4 or 5 seconds, take another step. Hit. That was great. Now, if he lays across the line and he doesn't crawl forward, I would allow it, but since he's been doing that over and over, I'm guessing I wouldn't let him cross that line again, and I would again put painter's tape down so you know exactly where the line is. Take a step backwards. Wait for him to look at you. Step back again. And once you get back all the way close to the oven, I'm going to have you kind of walk sideways. Keep your hips pointed towards him the whole time and turn the sink on, but again, one step at a time. We want him to think that you're not paying attention to it when you actually are. All right, so go ahead and do it again. And one more. He's going to LAY. If he doesn't crawl, we're going to allow him. All right, take a step towards the sink. Just turn the sink on. Turn it off, clink some plates, and watch him out of the corner of your eye. You can turn a little bit away from him. Now, normally, I'm guessing if you have a plate of food on the floor, he's not doing this.
Eating it.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're doing is basically we're trying to incorporate a way for him to learn that he has to respect boundaries, even though something he wants is right there and there's nothing but air between him and the object. He's been very pushy And my concern is with having 2 dogs in the house, this is going to make him more pushy, and that's going to probably carry over to Max starting to do some pushiness. And Max is pretty good about respecting boundaries. Now march him across. So you can lay across the line if you're respecting the spirit of the law, but as soon as you start crawling, I'm going to move it completely away. Now for the line, what I would do is get some blue painter's tape, put it down. After a day, well, what I do actually is I take an X-Acto knife and I kind of slightly cut it. Surgeon, so you guys should be good at this. But basically, you put it down so that after a day or two, I can take every other dot and make a dotted dashed line. And then every couple days, I take every other one away. So the line gradually dissipates, but the dog still knows where it is. Now, the rest of the time, the dog can go in and out of the kitchen whenever he wants. But when you're cooking, that's a different rule, a different condition. So now when we're done with the... Now again, a little bit more assertive. One of the things I do, and I'll show you sideways if you can see me, is I dip when I come forward. And it kind of creates, if you're coming forward, it looks a little bit more assertive. So you're going to have to recreate these things to practice, so that way he understands when you were doing the real deal. That was great. All right, so this is how we can teach our dog to respect invisible boundaries by recreating a situation and helping the dog practice.